Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today. Bienvenue à tous. We appreciate you taking the time to participate in Falco Resources Investor Webinar. My name is Diana Forsley, and I work with Falco in corporate development and on capital market strategy and execution initiatives. It's my pleasure today to introduce Luc Lessard, President and CEO of Falco Resources, along with Anthony Glavak, who is Falco's CFO. As many of you may know, Luc is a highly respected engineer with decades of experience in advancing complex projects, including senior roles within the Osisko Group. Luc brings deep technical and operational leadership to Falco. Anthony provides strong financial stewardship and capital markets expertise as the company advances toward its next key milestones in 2026. Following their presentation, we will reserve time for questions. Thank you again for your interest in Falco. And with that, I'll invite Luc to continue and elaborate on his experience.
Thank you, Diana. It's a pleasure to be there today with you guys. And bonjour à tous. Bienvenue à la présentation de Falco. Donc, quickly, my background, mainly technical expertise. As Diana said, I spent a few years with Cambior Group, Louis Gignac. So, Louis G Ventures group at this point of time. So I spent close to 19 years with Louis in the past. I built Rosebel Gold Mine in Suriname. So a few projects with Louis, and following the Cambior space, I joined the IAMGOLD Group for a couple of years for project development. In 2007, I decided to join the Osisko One Group, the big family, to build the Canadian Malartic success story. So I was in charge of the technical, environmental, execution, construction, and the operation of that asset. So big experience on this one. And in Abitibi, following the acquisition of the Yamana and Agnico Eagle of the asset, I decided to join the Osisko Gold Royalties. And I said to Sean, I need to smell concrete a little bit more. So few opportunities. So I was in charge as COO for a few years on the ODEP side. And also I took the position of, in 2015, as president and CEO of Falco for the Horn 5 project, to put the project from the exploration phase to the developers. So back to you, Diana.
Thank you very much, Luc. Now, Anthony, if you can begin the presentation.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. The Horn 5 project, as you know, is not a new story. To give you an indication, the Osisko Group's first investment in this company dates back to 2010, and Falco's acquisition of the land package that we're going to talk to you about today was completed in 2012. Since 2012, significant technical progress was made from the digitization and compilation of the Horn historical drill results. This historical Noranda data led us to provide and update a resource estimate, complete confirmation drilling programs, complete various technical studies, including a PEA and 2 feasibility studies. We also were in a position to submit our environmental impact assessment in 2018 and advance the environmental and social acceptability of the Horn 5 project through to the BAP or public audience process, which was completed at the end of 2024. In addition, we managed during this time through various agreements and partnership working with OR. We signed a silver stream agreement of up to $180 million and completed life of mine copper zinc offtake agreements with Glencore. Now, in 2025, our focus and continued focus was addressing really the social acceptability concerns in Rouyn-Noranda. We were going back and forth with questions from the environmental regulator, the Ministry of the Environment in Quebec. In addition, toward the second half of 2025, our focus changed to more strategic initiatives, including working with Mr. Sean Roosin and John Brzezinski as special advisors to Falco's management and board of directors, taking our vast exploration and regional property and completing an airborne gravity survey, and announcing the initiation of an updated feasibility study on the Horn 5 project, which we were looking to update to the market in May of this year. What I hope to achieve, and what I hope that Luke and I can achieve today with this time with you, is hope to convey that the Horn 5 project is indeed a world-class asset with robust project economics, that there are several expected near-term milestones with re-rate potential available to us, that we do have great partners, including ODEV, OR, and Glencore. In addition, that the experienced team around Luke, builder of the Canadian Malartic, is ready for the task of advancing this project even further. In addition, I will want to focus on the Quebec, not only the Quebec advantage, but more in particular, the Rouyn-Noranda advantage as it relates to the Falco Resources team. The Horn 5 deposit is a world-class deposit. It's a polymetallic deposit, primarily gold with copper, zinc, and silver byproducts. When we look at our 2021 feasibility study, you can see that we have proven and probable reserves of greater than 6 million ounces of gold equivalent. The project itself, the operations will have a 15-year mine life, where we will produce annually over 220,000 ounces of gold, and on a gold equivalent basis, closer to 330 ounces of gold. Where does that put us vis-a-vis other deposits in the Canadian primary gold space? Well, it's a top 5 asset based on life of mine production. The Horn 5 project by far has the most critical mineral production when you look at our copper and zinc byproducts. In addition, we are the most advanced from a permitting and social acceptability perspective. In addition, when we look at it from a resource size, we're a top 4 Canadian gold project in this space. Where are we located? Well, we're well located in the historic Noranda mining camp, which you can see the map right in front of you, home of many existing and historic mining operations. The Horn 5 deposit is in the industrial park of Rouyn-Noranda, and our resource database includes almost 500,000 meters of drilling. The deposit is well defined. It is there. In addition, as you can see in the blue area, we are owner of over 60,000 hectares of prospective exploration ground around the historic mine. We believe there are a couple of deposits to be found there, and we will discuss further on our exploration advancements there. When we look at the mine site, you can see that the Horn 5 project is really in the industrial park, situated right next to Glencore's Horn smelter. Our deposit is located beneath Glencore's smelter's land package. You can see their land package in blue. The continuity of the historical Horn mine, that's what we're looking to do. The historical Horn mine is in burgundy red, and our deposit, the Horn 5 project, sits in this black outline underneath. You can see from a longitudinal view how the deposit looks. The historic mine in brown goes down to approximately 600 meters. The Horn 5 deposit goes from about 650 meters down. We have prioritized previously impacted sites for this mining infrastructure. Specifically, we will use the former Camon number 2 shaft, a shaft that already exists and goes down to approximately 1,200 meters in depth. In addition, our future tailings facility, which will home or house approximately half of the tailings and waste rock from this project, is a site operated currently by First Quantum. It's the Norbeck site for which we have an option agreement with First Quantum. You can see in that our project is a continuation of the original Horn mine. The Horn mine was a copper mine that also produced approximately 11 million ounces of gold during its 50 years of operations. The Camon number 2 shaft is in green. It's ready for us to use. The reality is that as part of our execution phase, The first steps will be to dewater and rehabilitate and upgrade this shaft, but it's currently the right dimensions for what we want to do and how we want to advance this project forward. If I didn't say so already, this deposit that we have is 2 kilometers deep, 1 kilometer wide, an average thickness of approximately 100 meters. The grade of 2.24 grams of gold equivalent is relatively consistent throughout the deposit. And again, we believe that there's potential to increase life of mine at depth. All the mineral reserves and resource that you see in front of you can be found in our 2021 feasibility study. To date, we've already invested over $180 million in the province of Quebec. We have invested and received and is in storage in Rwanda all of our long lead hoisting equipment at site. The company is well positioned to launch towards an execution phase when permits are received. In addition, our hoist building is already constructed. We just have to install the hoisting equipment. Luke, maybe you can talk about the technical aspects of the project.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. So roughly what we have in front of us is a massive sulfide deposit, so very robust, vertical oriented, bulk mining metal, that's for sure. Access to the larger mining equipment fleet. We're on discussion with Sandvik to supply us the latest technologies, including battery equipment vehicle. So most of the equipment for production will be removed from the surface. We are looking to be very efficient operation, low cost operation for mining and processing. The method of mining will be transverse long hole, stope size in the range of 40 to 60,000 tons. So it will be a systematic sequencing of drilling, blasting, mucking per trench, or horizontal trench, and following the cycle, we will backfill all those stopes with paste backfill. So from the tailings, from the milling operation, we will use cement, and we will create a paste backfill to do the final disposal of the tailings underground. A portion of the tailing will be disposed underground, and the other portion will be disposed on surface, as presented by Anthony a few seconds ago. So at the end of the day, what we have in the mining is, yes, we will plan to use the equipment number 2 shaft, access ramp, enter ramp from the top portion of the deposit to the bottom, and some specific elements, including ventilation raise or pass, will be designed adequately to produce the tonnage. So this is for mining. On the processing side, throughput average of 16,000 tons per day, primary secondary grinding in the front end, following different cycle of flotation. So as we know, we have base product to deal with. So the first circuit of flotation will be copper. So we have to produce a copper concentrate. So this concentrate will be shipped to the backyard of the Falco infrastructure in the ore smelter operation. A portion of the gold will be recoverable from the copper concentrate. Say about half of the gold will be recovered by the copper concentrate. Following the copper concentrate, we have to deal with the zinc concentrate. So a flotation circuit will be designed for that. And a portion of the gold is encapsulated in the pyrite. So we decide to have a flotation circuit specifically for the pyrite. So we call pyrite concentrate product. This pyrite concentrate will be regrind close to 10 to 12 micron and leach, CIP, electrowinning, and the rebar will be poured on our facility. So a portion of the gold from the copper concentrate, the other portion from the pyrite concentrate leaching product. So back to you, Anthony.
You can see from our 2021 feasibility study, we have a precious metal project with approximately 25% of the payability coming from the base metals content. At a $1,600 gold price, NPV was closer to 760 million US dollars, and IRR approximately 19%. Although these figures are outdated, it is important to note that our project had a sub $600 an ounce per pure gold all-in sustaining cost, which is and is expected to continue to be a first quartile of low-cost gold producers. You can see in the sensitivity table that was included from our previous feasibility study, gold price went up to $2,000 per ounce of gold. As all of these long-term commodity prices have increased, specifically for the copper, zinc, and silver, in addition to gold, it is expected that the project economics will significantly increase when we take into account current market conditions and cost assumptions. We're looking to advance this feasibility study during the first half of 2026 and working towards providing results of this updated feasibility study in May of this year. When you look at the operating costs in our feasibility study, you can see why, or you can see the impact of the byproducts that are generated from the Horn 5 deposit. Approximately $600 per ounce of gold is returned to the company from the sale of these byproducts, which significantly reduces the all-in sustaining cost of each ounce of gold produced. And when we look at 2024 paid gold ounces worldwide, the weighted average was closer to $1,260 per ounce of gold. Our feasibility study in 2021 was $587 US. Even in our updated feasibility study, if we call it a $900 ounce all cost per ounce of gold, will still be in the first quartile. Vision and strategy is not different to other development stories before us. And we estimate that Falco's re-rate potential will come through project acceptability, updated project economics, and project financing, construction, and production phases. We believe that the Horn 5 project will be one of the few permitted projects in a limited use universe of developers with gold assets in safe jurisdictions. Recent transactions in the space, such as Osisko Mining's Windfall project, sold to Goldfields, Probe's Novador project, and Foran Mining's acquisition announced by Eldorado earlier this week, reflect this appetite for good projects. When we take a look at the PNAV of the company of Falco, it's trading at a significant discount to other development stage projects and other junior gold producers in the space. It's the same story when we look at an EV per ounce point of view. We are trading at a significant discount to our peers. However, we estimate that Falco's re-rate potential will come in 2026 through project acceptability that Luke's team is working on, updated project economics from the updated feasibility study, and a clearer path forward for Horn 5 in the near term. When we look at the financial information and the cap structure of the company, we can see that on a fully diluted basis, we're closer to 400 million shares outstanding. Our market cap at the end of January was approximately 177 million, and we're well funded with $9.5 million of cash on hand during this period. Our major shareholders have been with us for at least the past 7 years. Osisko Development, Investissement Quebec own approximately 22% of this project, and insiders add another percent. And when we talk about permitting process, in front of you, I'm showing you what the provincial process in Quebec looks like. We have been in this process since 2018 with the filing of our EIA in January 2018. We completed the public hearings process in 2024. It's called the BAP process here in Quebec. And currently we're working with the Ministry of the Environment to respond to remaining questions and clarifying certain concerns or questions so that they can complete their analysis and present it to the Council of Ministers. We are working, Luke and his team are working towards getting this government decree authorizing the project, the Horn 5 project, with certain conditions in the first half of 2026. Through our involvement in the community over the past decade, we have been able to show that Falco has the support of the town and the region for this project. Survey results from earlier this year, 2025, show more than 70% of the population are in favor in the project, mainly due to the significant economic benefits that this project presents. This project, over its 15-year life of mine, will contribute at least $4 billion to provincial GDP and adds value by actively contributing to the province's energy transition plan. The Quebec advantage, over the past year or two, or a couple of years, although Quebec has been knocked down in the past few years, Rouyn-Noranda has a rich mining history during their 100 years of existence. Specifically, the qualified mining labor expertise and network of suppliers and contractors in the region is second to none, and they're all ready to work with the Falco team, Luke's team, to build another one. These are the same contractors that worked with Osisko One to build Canadian Malartic, and they're raring to go a second time around. Strong partners. OR, as I previously noted, they have a silver stream with us for up to $180 million. We've received $35 million of milestone payments to date. In addition, we have a convertible loan for approximately $26 million, which it matures at the end of December 2026. Osisko Development, shareholder at approximately 16%. The Quebec government, shareholder at approximately 6%. Again, a good supporter of responsible mineral development in Quebec. And finally, last but not least, Glencore has a life of mine copper zinc concentrate offtakes agreement and a convertible debt with us for approximately $15 million that again matures at the end of 2026. Of note, in the news from yesterday, Glencore indicated that, and I'm sure everyone is aware, that at this time they would not initiate the significant modernization of their assets without clarity from the government. To be clear, Glencore has not indicated that they're stopping the smelter's operations, and their current permit is open and available, goes to the end of March 2027. Glencore's file is separate and independent from Falco's file. From our end, much remains unchanged. Again, we are working to complete our work with the Ministry of the Environment, submitting these responses in the near term. And the Ministry of the Environment will need to complete their own environmental analysis and provide their report to the Council of Ministers, politicians, for a decision regarding our decree. To be clear, there is no impact on the life of mine concentrate agreements that are currently in place between Glencore and Falco as it relates to the Horn smelter. Leadership team, you can see Luke and Helen were actively involved in the development and operation of the Canadian Malartic mine. In addition, with our special advisors, John Brzezinski and Sean Rusin, we have a lot of experience in the region and experienced mine builders. The objectives for 2026 are clear. We need to work with the Ministry of the Environment and the government to obtain a formal decree. And we're focused to do that in the first half of 2026. In addition, we want to update our 2020 feasibility study, all the cost estimates, in addition to assumptions, market assumptions that are required to make this a discussion point for further corporate activity. In addition, while we completed our airborne gravity survey at the end of December, we're currently analyzing the results and hope to issue these results in the near term. Once we get the decree, the path is pretty clear. We need to continue discussions with strategic partners, whether or not it's M&A, joint venture, or for certain project financing. That's to be determined. We will need to work on detailed engineering and initiating the final permit in order to commence dewatering of the Camo number 2 shaft, in 2027. There is no construction contemplated for the year 2026. It's really permitting and strategies on how to move this forward and maximize valuation value to the shareholders. Before I end this discussion, the question might be, why invest in Falco and why invest in Falco now? It's clear to me that this is Canada's most advanced undeveloped polymetallic asset. It's located in a great town, in a great world-class camp, the Noranda camp, in a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction. Near-term catalysts are evident, with Falco further down the permitting roads than most of our peers. There's exceptional value that can be unlocked with these near-term catalysts. And there seems to be a valuation disconnect, and we're trading at a significant discount to peers. We have experienced mine building leadership. We have a scarce asset. There is not another deposit like ours coming up in the near term. And we're in a position to really take advantage of this in the coming years. With that, Diana, I would move it over to you for questions.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for such a thorough summary. And thank you, Luke, as well, for such a good update. Now what we will do is we will open up the floor to questions. If you take a look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a Q&A button where you're free to write any questions you'd like to ask us. And I'm going to give the platform over to Carrie Howes, who works with Falco in the capacity of investor relations, to mediate questions.
Okay. The first question is directed at Luke. With all of your experience, what made you choose the project?
It's a good question. I would say on the personal side, I have definitely an attachment, a link with the region. I started my career in Rouyn-Noranda as mining engineer. My 3 daughters born in Rouyn-Noranda. My house was in front of the Osisko Lake, in middle of the Rouyn-Noranda town, so very special. But at the end, I built few projects during, I would say, 35 years with lots of people from the Abitibi region, specifically in Rouyn-Noranda. The one is, as you know, is Canadian Malartic. And I use all those contractors with high level of confidence to the result. So we build a very high level of confidence between the owners and the contractors. So very exceptional link we have. So today, what I'm looking is to build the second success stories in Abitibi, the Falco on 5, with those contractors, and be at the opening sessions with them to realize what we did during that phase. So it's a very special, unique situation on this. On the technical side, and I don't want to repeat myself, but the deposit is very unique. Again, we are not checking vein at all. We have a big, massive sulfide deposit, and just the thickness is 100-meter thick. So you are not able to see that somewhere on the planet. It's a unique type mineralization system, very robust, access to the high technologies. We designed properly the underground, the surface infrastructure to minimize the footprint. So I will say the Falco on 5 will be the reference for the mining industry at the moment we will be in the full operation. Thanks.
Thank you. Question 2, why invest now instead of waiting for the final decree or permit?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say Historically, there's always there's a considerable share price re-rating with final project approvals. Once the market gains confidence in the inevitability of the project actually advancing, as opposed to it being just an option, as we currently trade at a significant discount to our peers, investors are currently being compensated for risks and that are already substantially mitigated. Waiting often means paying a significantly higher price for the same asset. I believe the time is now, because the population, the shareholders, are yet to fully understand this project. And through the increased marketing and corporate development and stories that we're telling every single day, I think this share price will rebound relatively quickly.
Okay. Our next question: why hasn't the valuation gap already closed?
So I'll start it off, and if Luke wants to add on, he can. Permitting process is always the slowest period in the mining life cycle for all mining companies. There is a reason why other mining companies don't even talk about permitting, because it is a long process that is difficult to navigate, and admittedly our permitting process has taken a little longer than expected. As such, Luke and I haven't had the opportunity to actively market to institutional retail investors for several years. The gap between the asset quality and market awareness is what creates this opportunity today. As our engagement increases, I believe the price discovery will improve. We've made substantial progress on the permitting front. We continue to work every day with the Ministry of the Environment and other parties in the community level, and we work very well collaboratively with this group. We do expect to receive this decree in the short term. What is the short term? Well, I can't look the 6 years or 7 years backwards. I can only look forward, and I definitely believe we're right at the cusp of something special.
Okay, great. Thank you. This was touched on, but we will circle back. How does Falco compare to peers?
Well, it kind of matches with what we just spoke about. Why hasn't the valuation gap already closed? Well, we trade materially further down the totem pole than other of our peers. Again, permitting is one of the major reasons for that, in my opinion. Yes, there are complexities related to Glencore. However, that being said, Glencore can be a perfect partner for this project that other projects may not have. I think the company stands out as one of the most mispriced advanced development assets in the sector, quite frankly.
Okay, thank you. And in the interest of time, we will just take one more question today. Could Falco become an M&A target?
So we're saying this, I have Luc Lessard, who's a mine builder. I have, special advisors, Sean, who also loves to build mine. We have special advisors at John Brzezinski. Currently, Falco is focused on our standalone plan. However, as we spoke about earlier today with, Foran, Probe, Osisko Mining, good assets are becoming targets. So I believe the company is undoubtedly an M&A target, and we'll consistently evaluate, where we stand on our standalone plan versus opportunities that are out there. I think one difference that we, is new today that wasn't there maybe 5-10 years ago is, the amount of cash that is available to smaller and medium-sized operators in Canada and outside of Canada. I think, the scale, the jurisdiction, the infrastructure, our advanced development status, combined with the cash out there, offers a unique opportunity to attract a producer, who's looking for a long life partner, low risk group growth in the jurisdiction of Quebec, Canada. And Luke and I are focused on creating value for our shareholders. And from an M&A perspective, we would be open to transacting, but only at an appropriate valuation and for the right deal and with the right team, quite frankly.
Carrie?
Okay, so everyone, that is all the questions we have for today. We have a number of other questions that have been asked in our Q&A box, but in the interest of time, we will endeavor to answer those separately. Please feel free to send an email to our investor relations, which you could send to my email, which is chouse@falcores.com, or to the info.
So thank you very much for mediating the questions. We saw some really great questions come in, and apologies for not addressing them on this webinar, but we will address them via email. Some came in without your email addresses, so if you can just send those in directly so that we have somewhere to respond. So with all of that said, we thank you very much for participating and attending our webinar today. Merci beaucoup. And we very much look forward to continued progress and to updating you again soon. Thank you.